this is a very scary time, and that's why it's not time to sit back and relax. We have to really triple our efforts, because we may be in the last few months or years of the free internet that we've all, or that many of us have grown up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back live, broadcasting worldwide. And for the rest of the hour, Mark Dice is joining us. In fact, the last 20 minutes, because I've got a family issue to attend to, he is going to be hosting. And then coming up in the fourth hour, we are going to have John Rappaport of NoMoreFakeNews.com, always informative. So much news and information to cover. But wow, Mark Dice has been, I don't know, doing media stuff for at least 12, 13 years. He's got a degree in radio, television, film, and he's a media analyst, and he has millions of viewers a day. It's so exciting just to see, because he's always been successful, publishing books and reaching millions of people on YouTube. Then they would ban his YouTube channel, and we would support him when that was happening. So we've been through this censorship a long time together, and then famously he'd call talk radio shows and bring up Bohemian Grove and things like that. But now he really has hit his stride and is doing masterworks of real news, exposing fake news, and his trolling and his memes and just everything he does is just amazing. So it's so good to have him here with us for the hour. Mark, obviously I've got a lot of issues to cover and a lot of questions I have for you, but where do you want to start first? I mean, they're saying Matt Drudge is a Russian agent. They're saying Trump's racist because he talked about sovereignty. Brian Williams is back on TV, even though he's the king of fake news. You've got Kimmel saying he wants to beat people up. They're trying to invoke assault on folks. I mean, we're in the middle of like a culture war, a civil war. What would you call this time and space we're in, A? And B, how is team sanity, team common sense? I wouldn't even call us conservatives. Just team free market, team reality. How is team reality doing?
I mean, we're on the verge of an Orwellian nightmare where people are being disconnected from the truth, so they don't even know which way is up. I've been doing this so long that I remember back in the day when Jimmy Kimmel was actually a comedian, and now obviously he's just a liberal propagandist. And we're seeing this strange attack against traditional or independent small media outlets, small YouTube channels, rising big news outlets like yourself, because there's no coincidence that right after the election, they launched this attack on the media, of course, blaming fake news and the Russian conspiracy. And this is coincidentally, or not coincidentally rather, coinciding with the rise of social media personalities, new independent companies using the social media technology, because Facebook transitioned from a social networking company into a news company when they introduced their trending topics. Now they suggest which stories they think people would be interested in, as opposed to people just sharing what they want to with their friends. And YouTube transitioned from a place to post funny cat videos or little clips of, Charlie biting his brother's finger, if you may recall that viral video, to companies like you and personalities like me who are now dominating the mainstream media. And it's not only just us, it's thousands of smaller channels. And so we're seeing some new censorship rolling out. They're trying to remove the financial incentives of people like me on YouTube, demonetizing virtually every one of our channels, every one of our videos. Their censorship is so specific now, Alex, that many people don't know this, but when someone uploads a video to YouTube, it's automatically transcribed, and you can actually go and see the transcript. So their AI transcribes what is said in the video. And so now, if you just talk about certain things in the video, it's automatically, most of my videos now are demonetized as soon as I upload them. They're done processing, immediately demonetized, before any titles, before any tags, before any descriptions. So it used to be that if you were to, title a video something having to do with terrorism or police, or have some descriptions in there about with some keywords that they felt were sensitive or violence or sexual content, they would automatically demonetize it. But now it is off of what is actually said in the videos based off of their transcripts. It's getting very scary because we're seeing them trying to remove websites, alternative to Twitter, Gab, a social media network. I know you just had their CEO, Andrew Torba, on earlier this week. This is a very scary time, and that's why it's not time to sit back and relax. We have to really triple our efforts, because we may be in the last few months or years of the free internet that we've all, or that many of us have grown up with.
It's the best of times, worst of times. It's because you've been so effective. I've been so effective. Drudge has been so effective. All these thousands of new rising channels that reach hundreds of thousands a day, millions a week, smaller channels, tens of millions a week like your channel. Same thing with our channels. And we're winning the culture war. So they're saying, we're going to censor you. We're going to demonetize you. And we're like, okay, take the money. And they're like, no, you don't understand. We're not going to let people really share your videos anymore. But despite that, people still hand share our videos. They hand share your videos. So still we're rising, and the globalists are panicking. So as you know, last week, Zuckerberg came out and said the next year he's going to spend $1 billion flooding not just Facebook, but YouTube everywhere with his own scientifically created stuff to target the masses, Facebook videos to try to dominate and basically jam everything. So they now understand the future is going to be factoid, quick, short videos like yours, like Paul Watson's. And so
Google has also announced a program where they're going to be paying for, starting off, 1,000 journalists that they're going to have infiltrate 8 news agencies, and Google is going to pay for them. They're trying to market this as if this is like them joining the ROTC or them joining the Peace Corps. It's like, come and serve as a journalist. And so Google, it's called Reporting for America, and they're going to fund 25% of it. The news agencies are going to pay for half of it, and then they're going to crowdsource the other 25%.
And let's be clear, the Glenn Becks have been filled in on this plan. That's why he's totally Benedict Arnold, destroyed himself with his main audience, because he's been told we're going to shut down all the competition. We're going to flood things with fake conservativoid garbage, but a bunch of liberal and establishment garbage. So their answer is they're going to flood everything with content trying to drown us out, and then they admit that that's actually their plan while they censor us, while they block us, while they attack us. This is an epic battle. So as you said, we may just have a few months of anything being left.
YouTube also is paying and promoting and literally flying talent out to their headquarters, to the YouTube Space LA. They've been doing this covertly for years. Social justice warriors who they're promoting, who they're giving funds to, or they're literally turning over their YouTube studios to and giving them a whole staff to help them produce their content in order to try to counter our message. Here's what one of the people involved with Reporting for America had to say about Google's new plan to send, starting off, 1,000 journalists, again, which they're going to crowdsource.
And again, those will be fake news operatives that read talking points just to add more faces to it. That's their technique on CNN and MSNBC, is panels with 7 to 10 people, all making it look like it's a consensus. They're going to create focus group TV programs to create false consensus.
They're trying to find what are called social media influencers, people who have a sizable social media following, so that they can then post their articles and have them go viral through their social media followings. And so here's what one of the guys affiliated with it says. He says it's going to be a rigorous and probably a pretty tough process to get in. You know, there are 2 selection processes, one for would-be Report for America core members, and another for news organizations that want to host them. Oh, so sorry, Alex, if you want some of these people at InfoWars, you're going to have to apply, and it's a rigorous process.
Well, let's be clear. They always make it elitist, like have biometrics on your Mercedes when it's an enslavement system. So, oh, we clamor to have Google give us money. But really what you're getting is Google not blocking you and Google embedding. And I don't want to get into this. It was behind the scenes. It was done privately. But I had Google 6 years ago reach out. I had Facebook 2 years ago reach out. And they just said, look, just stop, and we'll fly to New York. It was all just like out of a movie, though. Just be a little more friendly, and we're not going to block you, or we're not going to block you. And then suddenly my videos were all getting 2 million, and then for like a month they go, oh, you're not being very friendly, and it's right back down to 100,000. And they weren't making me get the millions of views. They were unblocking me and letting me have my own success. So That's how this works, is they literally just influence peddle.
I mean, they go on to say here that, well, the reporters will need to persuade us that they have both the skills and the character, a commitment to public service. They're doing a public service now to have an impact quality.
And what they're moving to is not YouTube, but YouTube and Facebook all have their own people. Everybody else is kicked off, and only folks that are doing the service of the SJW can be on.
Those are the ones that are going to be promoted, obviously, because a lot of people don't know this, but people who have Facebook fan pages, which is what all public figures have, or any band or any brand on Facebook, I mean, they limit the distribution unless you actually pay them to publish and distribute your post. And I think it's, I mean, to reach everyone that subscribes to my page, I think it's about $5,000 for one single post. So they don't want our information to be seen. So it's going to be this handheld, small group of social justice warrior chosen people to be promoted. And this is what they're trying to do to control the information, to control the narrative again, because they've absolutely lost it. They're freaking out. I see reports in mainstream media complaining about you and Paul Joseph Watson and other people on social media, I mean, almost every day now. They just don't even know what to do. And so at some point, they're going to continue to clamp down. First, they're going for some of the more extremist, racist people and shutting their accounts down, and then they're just going to keep coming down and say, well, Paul Joseph Watson, your anti-immigration video is pretty racist. You need to be taken.
Well, they've already demonetized all his videos and are now they deleted hundreds of his videos just the last year. Some videos with 37 million apiece. Strange days have found us. Strange days are here. Mark Dice of markdice.com is here with us. I'm going to be carrying his new best-selling book. We know it's going to be best-selling. Many of his books have been bestsellers at InfoWarsStore.com as soon as that sucker comes out in about 3 months. I know some of the subjects. It's his biggest book. Can't wait to see that, especially now that his audience is so huge. That makes me sleep better at night, folks, knowing that Paul Watson's huge and he's huge and there's a lot of other big people now, because it's scary to be the one guy that's big. But getting back to Mark Dice, I watched him drinking coffee during the break, and it was the Jay Leno show back when he was hosting. Jay Leno, I know for a fact, would have kept the show. He had higher ratings. The ratings dropped massively when he left. He would not just attack conservatives every night. He's not even a conservative. He's more like a libertarian. I know people that know him well. He's a listener of the show. He's a patriot. And Jay Leno would not play ball, and so he's gone. That's why they have these complete hacks now. And it's weird. There's this paradox where they've got all these HBO shows, Showtime shows. I won't talk about myself, but I have to. They have all these programs where they have Comedy Central shows where the person says they're me, says racist things, and then I don't get to respond because they go, oh, it's just comedy, while they censor me in the real world and try to shut me up, Mark Dice.
Leno was pushed out when he was #1 for over 20 years, which doesn't make any sense in terms of the television business. You don't push somebody out when they are #1, when they've been #1, when there's no indication.
I mean, I know people that know him. He's even kind of said it. He said he's not going to sit there and divide America and be a big jerk.
Well, he was the first late-night comedian to pull the gloves off and start going after Obama. And if you recall, I mean, everybody was really soft. Even the jokes about Obama, they were very light. They weren't even, jabs at him. They were just sort of jokes about him, the administration, all to make him look like a good guy. And then after, I don't remember exactly what point it was, but after the hope and change started wearing off and turned into, regret and despair, Leno took the gloves off. And I remember, because I was a big Leno fan, when he started making very, very serious jokes.
He started tearing Obama up, and they fired him.
They got rid of him. And, the comedians are propagandists. I mean, I think it was Time Magazine or Newsweek even dubbed what they're calling the John Oliver effect, in that John Oliver's audience is a politically active group, and that John Oliver uses his platform, obviously, not just as comedy, which I guess you could call it comedy to some, but as a political activist organization. And so they actually are calling his, a political agenda the John Oliver effect, because he's having such a powerful effect on various legislation and on our culture. That's why this is a culture war. That's why I'm excited in a couple months, to promote the new book. It's going to be so good, and that's why I'm so glad to see InfoWars grow from such a, from a basic operation to what it is now, because it's so crucial that we counter this propaganda that they're putting out on a daily basis. I don't know what they're going to do, because they're losing so many viewers Nobody's watching the NFL anymore. Nobody's watching these award shows.
I was about to say, the NFL has record low viewers. All of them are imploding because we're sick of being beat over the head with SJW. Where do you in your gut see all this ending?
You know, I think it's just going to turn into more of a Huxleyan circus, where I think they're going to just start basically bribing people with lottery-type winnings to watch shows, sort of like you do on your local radio shows. You know, oh, the 10th caller gets free tickets to, you know, go to such and such a concert. I think they're going to just start offering people money, or they're going to have to offer people chances to come and hang out with your favorite celebrity. Oh, come and hang out with Jimmy Kimmel. Just watch the show and, you know, text in and you're going to be chosen. I'm not sure what they're going to do because their audiences have dwindled. They made a slight comeback, the liberal cable news channels, since the election. Before the election season, back in like 2014, they could barely get 150,000 viewers.
Sure, and that dead cat bounce is now wearing off. But they also have this UN phenomenon where the globalists control all the money and then have these big robot factories where they're going to, quote, give everybody free money, a basic monthly income. But to do that, you've got to sign on to the government's SJW agenda. Just like, oh, you'll have a YouTube site and we'll pay you now. We're demonetizing everybody else for real success. No one gets money unless you prescribe to our code of ethics.
Yeah, they'll start banning people just like Patreon, a sort of an alternative funding mechanism for content creators, the YouTubers, banned Lauren Southern, just a conservative YouTuber, because they just didn't like what she was doing. She violated their terms of service. That's why relying on this technology is quite dangerous. It is the best of times. It is the worst of times. It's a double-edged sword because it's amazing what we're able to do, but at the same time, at any point, they can completely cut us off, shut us off.
And let's go further. Clearly, they say that they're this combine, they're this utility, so everybody can be there, but then they discriminate against us. But now banning Gab, kicking them off Google platforms for apps, foreign governments kicking them off just because they're a truly open place for people to talk. I mean, it's next level with Google and Facebook and Twitter, Mark, as you know, supporting government platforms, supporting Saudi Arabia and Iran, giving them the intel at Twitter on blasphemers of Islam to kill them. It shows they're ready to climb in bed with any authoritarianism as fast as they can jump in that dirty bed. We'll be back.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.